This video is sponsored by PCB Way. More on that later on. Hello, Randy Rain here, and welcome to part 2 of the Zuni Doll Marionette build. If you haven't seen part 1, it's where I built the marionette, so go check that out. This time I'm going to build these weapons. As you can see, I've got a knife, a spear, and this little gold chain here. And these are all rubber. They're safe. They're not real. So let me show you how I did it. The spear starts off as just a dowel rod, but it's of course too round and perfect, so it's off to my stationary belt sander to make it a little more stick-like. So the spear tip is just a piece of MDF that I cut out and make it into spear shape using, again, my belt sander. But just like the teeth on the puppet, I want it to be safe, so I'm going to mold this, and to do that, I'm going to first glue it down. However, MDF is extremely porous, so I'm going to coat it with some petroleum jelly. For the silicone, I'm using this because that's what I have. I can tell you one thing with this dragon skin is if you put heat to it, it cures fast. It's so hot out right now, in the 90s, upper 90s, mid 90s, somewhere around there, Fahrenheit that is. And this has been outside for less than 20 minutes, and it's already cured. Also, when something like this happens where it's really thick over here and you have a little thin spot and you've got to cut, don't cut here. Cut the big thick part. And of course, you want to cut in a zigzag pattern. It'll stitch together better. I also cut this stuff off so it'll sit flat. Now I'm going to take some black pigment, which is just black iron oxide. Just hit some spots. Even kind of let the pigments just fall out. So you can see, I didn't cover it. I just put some spots in there. Because now I have some gray, which is just black iron oxide with white titanium powder mixed in. Now I'll coat it. And now I don't use rubber bands. I take a piece of string and I just loosely wrap it around, just enough to hold it in place. Then when you get to here, you fold and you can tuck under and you leave that little hanging out there and we're ready to pour. Alright, I'm going to be using Vitaflex 60, but it's a type of rubber. It's usually not gray. I have dyed it a little bit. Also going to be using a little Kick It because that will kick it off faster because this stuff takes a long time to cure. We'll pour a little bit in, give the little bottom a squeeze to make sure it gets down into that point. And pour a little more. Pretty close. Pretty close. For my stick here, I want to go brown, but really light brown, because I don't want it to go away with the color of the doll. Darken it just a little bit more. A little more than that. Let's see what happens with a little bit of a black pigment on top here. Kind of dry brush that. That looks cool. Alright, it's all cured. Okay, I'm going to try some string on here. See how that looks. I think I'm just going to put a dab of CA glue. Alright, so I want him to be able to hold on to this, but I also want to be able to remove it as well. So it's going to be a friction thing. I want to find the balance, probably right there. And I'm going to do another wrap of string. Now I'm going to take some of this matte Mod Podge. Put in a little bit of black just to make it gray. Alright, I don't like it just gray. Add some brown in there as well. Let's see. What if I took some of this black powder pigment and just kind of dust it a little bit here and there. Oh yeah. I like that. That will work. So one last thing I want to do is add some feathers to this, and seems like from the movie they're colored feathers, but I'm not going to go buy a whole bag of colored feathers to do this. So I found these outside, and of course I like birds. I have bird feeders. I feed birds, but let's face it, birds are pretty disgusting creatures, so I washed these in alcohol, so they are sterile. I'm going to attach them, something like that would probably be fine. And I think I'll add some more string on here. I'm going to leave that little fray, kind of like that. And I changed my mind, I don't like that after all. And I'll go ahead and add some more of the podge. And I'll go ahead and dirty it up. That will be fine once it dries. So this video is sponsored by PCB Way, and you may be wondering, what does PCB Way have to do with a Zuni marionette doll? Well, yeah, I can see that. PCB stands for printed circuit board, and there's no printed circuit board here. Well, they have other services. They have a 3D printing service. They have a CNC machining service. So all you have to do is upload your files. They'll create it and send it to you. It's very affordable. It's great. I use their service, and that's the only reason they are even allowed to sponsor any of my videos, is because they are a good company and I actually use them. You will never see a company on any of my videos that I do not actually use. I've been talking to them for quite a while now, and they are extremely nice people. They've helped me out, so please go check them out if you need something. So if you want something of mine, ask me for the file. I'll give it to you. You can upload it to PCB Way. They'll make it, send it to you. So go check them out, PCBWay.com. Alright, I'm working on the knife now, and I 3D printed this out, and I did it so it's like really thick, and I'm hoping it's thick enough so it's not going to be flimsy when I make it out of rubber, but I might end up having to put in a like fiber rod or something in there. It fits into his hand really well, but I'm going to pad it up so it kind of friction stays in there. And I'm going to do it with a piece of string. I'm going to wrap it around Also give it a little detail. I'm just going to wrap it around once. One good clean wrap all the way around. And now I'm just going to put a drop of CA glue right there so it'll stay. And now I'm going to coat it with some of the podge here so it'll get hard and seal it too. Now this is dry. Just going to give it a light sanding. Alright, same silicone. And I knew I didn't pour enough this time. I'm starting to get low. I'm also going to take one of my little craft sticks here and put it in so it's, use it as a brace. So this time I'm not going to tint the rubber. Definitely gonna need something. So I have a carbon fiber rod. I glued a toothpick up to it. So now I'm gonna try push this in. It's gonna want to float because it's pretty dense stuff. I'm pretty sure it'll float. Maybe, maybe not. I use this to keep it from floating up. Oh yeah, there you go. There's the knife. fits snugly into his hand. That's perfect. Okay, maybe I got something here. I just made a loop, but I didn't connect them at the end. There's like 3 links by themselves here, or 2 links by themselves. It's connected at the 3rd link to make the loop. And if it goes around, then you can put it through, and then use the stud, poke in there, and that looks pretty cool. And then you can pull that out and it comes right out. But of course this is just way too new looking. So a little bit of black paint. See what that does. It's acrylic paint, washes right off of me, so it's probably not going to stick very well to this. But that's okay. I think that'll work fine. I think that's the answer. So there you have it. The spear, the knife, and the little chain here. And of course, they all come off. You can take the knife out just like this. It's just rubber. You can take out the spear. And of course, to make him come alive, the chain falls off just like that. Pretty cool, I think. Anyway, the next video, it's time to make him start moving. It's time to build the control and turn him into a real marionette. So if you enjoyed this video, I sure would appreciate a like. If you want to see more stuff like this, hit that subscribe button. I want to thank these people right here. These are patrons. These are people helping me out. Could not build this stuff without them. If you want to become a patron and help me out and continue to do this stuff, I would appreciate it. You can follow the links below. There are perks. So anyway, stay tuned for the next video, and we'll make the Zuni doll come alive. Oh yeah, that's floppy. I'm gonna get you. It looks cool. But yeah, it's gonna need something. Definitely gonna need something. But I dig it. Looks cool.